Tuesday lives because really most of them are in answer to questions that I get from inside the mums and dads, renovators and decorators Facebook group, or from inside my own community, or from people connecting to me via Facebook Messenger. So a lot of people are really keen to go from having a love of renovation into running it full time. Like they're very, very interested in the steps that it takes. So for the October theme, I'll be taking us right through the steps, the things that you have to do and the things that we have to value about ourselves and where we are currently, and the things we might need to improve upon to go from dreaming about renovating full time to actually doing it. Understanding your capability, I think it's the first step, believing in your own capabilities, drawing on what you have inside and like creating a business around what you already have the capacity to do. So starting a renovation business is really for anyone who wants to turn ugly homes into pretty ones for a living. Like that's the first part. You have to do what you love. If I didn't truly love the topic of renovation and property investment, if I didn't truly love it, then I could just retire off into the sunset and not spend time doing stuff like this on Facebook and with my current student body. So I really love it. Like I love the topic. For my time off, I scroll through Home Beautiful magazines and Inside Out and all those kinds of things and just look for inspiration. And I'm constantly on Instagram regardless. So if I wasn't earning money doing what I love to do, which is renovating and property investing and also this educational program, like if I didn't truly love it, then I'd probably be doing it anyway. So I might as well make some kind of viable income from it. If you'd like to be in control of what you do each day, the beauty is when you work for yourself or you turn something that you're so passionate about into your everyday is shiny and bright and sunny and happy because you are in a spot where you love what you do. But at the same time, you are in control of what you do. Don't have a boss to turn up for at 9 o'clock every morning. If your kids are sick or if something's going down that day, you can take a day off. You can just, like if you get a really good trustworthy trade team, even better, you barely have to touch base. So yeah, and during the week, and they can just go and continue with their renovations and you just know that they're going to be working on your behalf, doing the right thing. So the beauty is you are in control. No boss is going to sack you. If, I look at just the uncertainty in the marketplace when it comes to employment lately is horrid, absolutely horrid countrywide, right? When you're in control of doing what you're doing, you've taken control, you're in charge, none of it affects you. I've been unaffected by everything that's going on because I have investment properties. In fact, ironically, everything that's gone on has helped me because I've got, investments. So, and they've all gone up. But if you'd like to be in charge of how much you earn, that's a big thing. You are not stuck earning money per hour that's dictated to you by what you do for a job, what your skills are, your qualifications are, or what a boss deems you're worth. You're worth what you charge other people, and you're worth what your renovations can produce for you, which is a lot more than, generally speaking, no income promises, but it's a lot more, generally speaking, than what you can get per hour from working in a day job of which you get taxed. If you want to earn a living from renovating homes that you don't own, this is a big fallacy, guys, that you actually have to own multiple properties to make money from renovating, or you actually have to have the money to go and buy a property to renovate, to flip that property, to be able to earn money from renovating skills, your renovation skills. You actually don't. You can renovate properties that you don't own in a really nice legal agreement between you and the property owner, protected by proper drawn up documents, legally drawn up documents by solicitors, qualified people to oversee what you're doing. But you can be protected and you can do it really nicely. You can help people out if they're struggling with their mortgages and they need to sell the home and they don't have the money to prepare that home for sale and they know that they're going to be leaving profit on the table. You can help those people out. It works for you, it works for them. You can do it coming from a place of kindness. So it's, it can be smiles all round at the end. If you liked the idea of earning money from doing something that you love, so important that every day you wake up, you should smile and go, okay, today's a Monday. That's just fine. You're not thinking, oh my God, today's a Monday. I have to face 5 more days of this before I get to the weekend. You don't want to be living life like that. Life is too short. And really, you know, renovating as a business, doing it day by day, is not something that's very common. People talk about it. They see shows in the States all the time where people are flipping properties and they think, oh, everyone's across this. Not true, guys. A tiny, tiny percentage of the population are across it. So yes, I know the renovation space really well, and I love investing, but my true passion is business. And the reason I've done so well, I believe, is that I treat renovating homes as if it was a business. I look at profit, I look at loss, I look at time, I value my time, I look at leverage and scaling and all those kinds of things. So yes, I was actually selected as one of the top business women to watch in 2020, which is pretty cool. All right, so let's break this renovation thing down into components about how you can actually make money using your renovating skills. So there are 2 main ways. There are actually lots of feeder ways, like starting YouTube channels, like starting Instagram pages and getting sponsors on board and ambassadorships and representing product. And that's a whole different thing. But for today, let's talk about the 2 most simple ways, the ways to generate probably the most income in a short amount of time. So there are two main ways. Number 1 is renovating your own properties. Like, that's just flipping, right? Grabbing a house, doing it up with your own money or the bank's money or a third party's money. That's a whole different topic again, but to sell or to keep that property for nice rental recurring income. Or you can also renovate someone else. So like I said before, renovating a property that you don't own. So you can work with clients, you can consult on their renovations, you can do design briefs. If you have some basic skills, you should be ringing me like today, or sending me a message, and we should be chatting about how I see your skills and what those skills could become for you and your family, and how to go about it. Most people, just because they're not in a community of people who are doing this and who understand and value the skills that they have and know how to create an income and develop a small business from those skills. Most people just think that property is property, flipping's flipping, renovating, is renovating, and it's just making something pretty and that's it. That's true, but there are just so many other things. So if you'd like to speak to me, that's fine. At the end of this, there's a link about how you can book a call. But all right, so 2 simple ways, really, without getting too deep into it, is renovating properties that you own to buy or keep, renovating for somebody else. We talk about joint ventures a lot, and a lot of people don't realize you can do this, but in essence, you have a property, you have someone with the renovation skills, which is probably you, and there are the funds. 3 separate entities they are. So property is something that you either buy it or you can control it through nicely drawn out documents from a solicitor, property lawyer, that make sure that you've got control of that property and that nothing's going to fall apart between the time you renovate it and the time that you sell that property for a percentage of the profit or for your fee for service or whatever. So if you buy the property, obviously there's stamp duty. If you don't buy the property's never been in your name, and so there's no stamp duty due. If you control it and you're renovating it for profit, obviously you're going to be paying some income tax. If you're flipping the home for profit, then you're going to be paying some capital gains tax. We're all going to be paying tax, guys. That's just part of the deal. If you want to minimize your tax, then you'll speak to my crew as well, and you'll learn how to legally minimize your tax. If you're the renovator, or the renovator can be you or the property owner, or a combination of both. You can work alongside people. It can be whatever you determine it to be. And the funds, they can come from you, they can come from the property owner, they can come from a combination of you two, they can come from a third party. And by third party, I mean the bank or somebody else, a short-term lender. So we talk about fee for service. So you can quote people to work with them or for them on their renovation. You can actually do a quote, or you can charge an hourly rate. These hourly rates that I charge as a consultant and have charged as a consultant, and other people who I've trained also charge, range from between $50 an hour to $200 an hour if you're charging an hourly rate. Your skills are valuable to somebody else. There are so many people who are terrified about renovating a property, who have no idea of where to source product, what colors to use. Those decisions that a renovation contains, like just making decisions on the fly, are difficult for some people if they've never ever done it before and they don't have time to research product, etc. If you can make decisions in relation to doing a renovation and you know what colors you like and you know what works well, you have skills that can be packaged up, and they're of value to somebody else, and that other person will pay for your skills. I think the first thing we need to do is actually recognize our own capability. We sell ourselves short all the time. All the time we play ourselves down. It's such an Aussie thing to do, and it's such an Aussie women thing to do, is just to play down what we're capable of. But let's have a look at it. We run busy families. We have quite often, and I've done it before, 3 kids, one going to soccer training at 4, the other one going to ballet at 4:30, the other one going to a concert at 7 o'clock who needs hair and makeup done, dinner somewhere in between, husband coming home from work, dogs and horses needing feeding. Like, there's a lot that we do in our lives. We underestimate our ability to transfer those day-to-day skills into the renovation space. So time management, research and analytics. If you've got a job and you've worked for a boss in whatever capacity, you might be a hairdresser, you might work in an office, you might be a boss's PA. Like, I don't know your history, guys, but really focus and drill down and actually write down the things that you know you could bring to the table in the renovation space. Being able to keep track of the paperwork and do all the administration, being able to track the numbers and keep a track of the budget, doing the research and the analytics to find property, being able to manage your time and communicate with your builder, being able to prepare a property for sale, perhaps being able to speak to the real estate agent about how you want your property to look online when they market it, thinking outside the box about things about that property that make it special and bringing that to the real estate's attention, using your creative thinking to plan and create in the renovation space. So create a beautiful home in the first place. All of these things, anything, technology or digital literacy, being able to send photographs and communicate with your builder about product and the style and the design you like, and for your builder to communicate with you via email and attach photos and like all of this kind of stuff. Think about what you have, the skills that you have, and don't downplay yourself. There's a time to be humble, and there's a time to build yourself up enough to be brave enough to do this. And that's the big gap I see, is just being brave enough to make a start. Most of the time it's because you're not with a bunch of people who are doing it. That really helps in bridging that gap. Or you're not with somebody who can champion you on and say, you've got this. You're going okay. You can ask me questions along the way if you get stuck, but you've got this. Let's get started. Let's go. Most of the time, it's just that. It's also not having enough education so you feel confidence when you're going forward and you're speaking to people who aren't, like, doing your own property is one thing, but doing it for somebody else, it takes some confidence as well. So let's just talk about leaning on your capability first. So your communication skills, if you've got the ability to listen, you've got some good writing ability, and you're okay meeting people face to face and doing coffee, hello, my specialty, then you've got the ability and the capacity to put this together. And what are your people skills that you've learned through your life skills, your career, dealing with your kids, being busy parents? Cooperation, empathy, being empathetic to tradies if they can't turn up for some reason that day, or being kind to people if a product is not available, like the vanity's out of stock or it's been stuck in shipment or whatever. Being patient, taking a big breath and trying to stay calm. Flexibility with renovation, oh my God, that's a massive one. Being flexible, not everything, like you can plan it from A to Z and you expect it to go exactly like that, but a renovation is a renovation. You know, like some things you just have to ebb and flow and make decisions on the fly. Leadership skills. Lead your team of builders. Lead your trades. Like, let them know the parameters around how you like to work and about how you'd like to be communicated with if they're going to make a decision on the fly that it's going to either impact your budget or the design of the project. It is okay to step up into the leadership skills that you've developed over the years while you're leading your family. Lean on those skills and value those skills when you go into the renovation space. That builds your confidence. Prioritization and delegation. All of these things, we've got these life skills, we've grown these life skills, our careers. If you're nurses and teachers, oh my goodness, the things that you can bring to the renovation space. I want you to stop. I want you to write down at the end of this video all of the things that you think you can bring to the table and that you should value probably way more than you do. Mentoring, coaching, feedback, accepting feedback, giving feedback, communicating. And the biggest one of all, guys, the biggest thing that makes us capable of doing a renovation, working with other people on our projects or other people's projects, is our intuition. Oh my goodness. Okay, this little old house here that seriously needs a renovation. Promise I'll go over and do it next. This little house is a house that I've owned since 2003 or 4, I can't remember, somewhere around there. It is in Invercargill. It is in right down the south of New Zealand. So one of our biggest capacities is to use our intuition. When I looked at this property, I thought, okay, this is in a great area. It felt right. The sun was coming through the kitchen window. It felt like a good property, as well as running the numbers, right? Doing research on the suburb and its location. So it's not about ignoring numbers, but beyond that, if you feel intuitive that you believe that a property is a good one to buy, then listen to your intuition. Same thing, if something's screaming at you, like this just doesn't feel right, red flags everywhere, then accept what you're essentially being told or you're feeling, like take notice. So one of our biggest capabilities is selecting good property and making the right changes to that property. Intuitively, we know how to make a family home, right? We know how to make it a beautiful place to nest, whether that be for us or somewhere else. So hubby and I are going to go over and pull this apart and do a good renovation on this in a couple of years. In the meantime, rental income's has been fantastic. The real estate agent a long time ago, this was rented to the same lady for 9 years. The real estate agent, right back in the beginning, said to us, I've got this lady, I feel, lady's intuition, I feel like she's going to be a good tenant. And I said, well, tell me about this lady. What makes you feel like she's going to be a good tenant? And the real estate agent said, or the property manager, I really don't know. I just get the impression that she's going to be fine. She's got one record of having a good rental history. I thought, okay, that's important. She said, but here's the thing. She's on the pension. She's out of work, and she's been out of work for years. She's got 2 teenage boys. She's got a great big German shepherd, and she has only just that one rental history. So I'm thinking, oh, okay. Do I rent this property to her or do I not? So the talk that I had with that property manager was not so much about what it all looked like on paper, because she didn't look good on paper. There were so many applicants around that would have had a better look on paper. But I trusted my property manager's intuition, and I had the intuition too that she'd be okay. That lady stayed for 9 years. She never, ever missed paying her rent. The house was, yes, it's old, but impeccably kept inside. Actually looks better inside than out. So, you know, like, she was just a great tenant. For 9 years, I never, ever had to think about that property and what it was doing. When she asked me to do stuff, I did it. Trim bushes, blah, blah, blah. It's just all about, I don't know, I think we undervalue our, you know, what our bodies are telling us and what our minds are telling us about what move to make. Right. So the other thing is, don't let people tell you or make you feel like you can't do this. So it's not about how many renovations you've done. if you wanted to take renovating and go and make a business of it, so you could quit your job, and there's a way to do that. Please don't do it off the back of this video immediately, please. We need to speak before you start doing stuff like that. There's a way to do that, to move, to transition from your current work into renovating full-time. But it's not important how many renovations you've done. It's not important how many Instagram followers you've got, unless you want to earn an income via Instagram or YouTube or whatever. You will never stop learning. Just open your hearts and your mind. Don't put a number on how many renovations you've done, because I guarantee you might have done 15 or 20 or even 40, like one of the guys in my group, and he's still learning. Like, we still learn stuff. So you don't feel like you have to have it all in a box and that you have to be so ready to get going. You'll never be ready. You'll never feel ready, and that's okay. And don't let others who are online showing you these flashy renovations make you feel like you'll never live up to that. Make you feel like you doubt your own color selections and things like that. Those things make you feel small. You don't need to feel small. What's your rocket fuel? I'll tell you mine. I was at a New Year's Eve party once, and a lady came up to me and she said, "Oh, you're starting a renovation education program, are you?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, I am. I'm really excited." Back then, I said I was with a best friend and we were just going to launch it and see how we went. People had been asking us questions, so we thought it was something that we could do. And she said to me, "Somebody's already doing that. They've already got the market covered. You'll never make a go of it." And I thought, far out. Actually, my mind was going, like, seriously. I thought, firstly, why would you say that to someone? But people will tell you why something won't work. But instead of that making me feel small, I used it as it's my rocket fuel. I remember those words to the day. I actually can't even remember the lady's name. I don't remember her name, not because it was New Year's Eve and I'd had a few too many, probably that. Actually, it's not. I don't really remember her name. I just remember her saying it to me, and I can visualize her face right now. And I just thought, and I use it. That's my rocket fuel. So, don't let people make you feel small. Here's Lauren, our beautiful Lauren. Lauren's a reno coach inside Renovation Secrets. She does this kind of stuff. She renovates for herself. She renovates for other people in joint ventures or for fee for service as a renovation consultant. You can consult on lots of people's projects, right down to the hands-off stuff, planning, details, color selections, all that kind of stuff, right down to the helping them on-site, talk to their builders and all that kind of stuff, and accept quotes and all that kind of business. You can help them right through the process. So she works doing this all the time. So this was a 10-week project. She got paid $30K for 10 weeks work. But what that doesn't actually say, she was finishing off another job. She was kind of overlapping them. So it's not like that's all you get for 10 weeks. She's overlapping this job and then starting another job. So she got $30K for this one. She got a profit share for the next one. So, there's significant income if you really want to have a crack at it. So the main thing is, I think, is to value what you already know, what you already bring to your family and your life as a skill that's valuable in the renovation space. Lean on your intuition as well as the numbers. You get a feel for a property. It's really important to listen to what your intuition is telling you. And we'll talk about confidence, and there's 3 C's, I think, in starting a business. So today we talk about your capability and leaning on that. I'll go through the other 2s. See next week, Tuesday at 12 midday, New South Wales time. Sorry about daylight savings, guys. New South Wales time's 12 o'clock. We'll talk about the other 2 at length. By the end of the month, you guys will know whether renovating as a business is something that you'd like to embark on. So follow me every Tuesday, 12 midday. Thanks, guys. Have a gorgeous day. And see you next week. Cheerio.